humble host. I just wanted to show off there. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he wasn't fired and arrested all in the same day yesterday. Dale Hellestray's here, everybody.
My goodness gracious, what a day to have a day yesterday, Steve. I'm glad.
I have days, Dale, but I've never had a day like that. Usually my firings and my arrests come days apart.
I'm like, okay, you know what? I played a whole round of golf, but I'd still rather be out there than where some of these cats were yesterday. And I'm by that I'm talking not only Michigan, but here locally too.
You got a whole bunch of stuff happening here. 49-point loss for your Phoenix Suns yesterday, Dale.
You know, it's bound to happen, Steve. There's just a little bit of an emotional letdown, and you know they were eyeing the cup. They were looking forward.
Oklahoma City was pissed because of Devin Booker's comments on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that would set me off as an athlete. Is number one, if you talk crap about another team, and then you're not going to play,
you got to be out there and play, right? Yeah.
Come on now, Devin, you're smarter than that. But hey, I kind of don't think so. What? Maybe that was the last 9 points.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, that was, I don't think it would have mattered. Let's put it that way.
No.
I mean, if you guys don't know, if you're not up on the NBA, Oklahoma City is the best team in the league, and it ain't close.
Jeez.
It ain't close. I would even go to argue so much to be like I was watching that game last night. I had it on as I'm sure they're icing my ankle because I screwed up my ankle again. That's terrible, folks. And to the point where Dale today goes, man, you're walking like me. I'm like, yeah, I feel like you right now. But I was just watching that game, and the whole time I'm just like, this isn't even fair.
No.
Break up, Oklahoma. Not just the Suns. If you don't know, Oklahoma City does this to everybody.
There's some absurd statistic out there that the league's returning MVP, defending MVP, it's only playing like 50% of the fourth quarters.
Yeah, they rest everybody. They're going to be fresh
They're
come
so
playoff
far
time.
ahead.
Yeah. I actually was watching this thing on just like predictions and things. It wasn't like talking heads like us that just have opinions and they throw nonsense out there. This was a guy with like analytics and everything. And he flat out said, if Oklahoma City loses 10 games this year, it's going to be because they just like stop trying at some point, like just rest everybody at some point. He's like, they're just going to keep winning and winning. You saw it last night. They're physical. They're fast. The refs let them get away with everything on top of it.
Well, once I finally found where it was on, God, I just
Amazon Prime last night. I know.
Autumn
did the same thing when we were at dinner. She's like, "What channel is this on?" Can we go to why am I paying for the NBA Suns Plus app when half the games are on Amazon or Peacock?
Because if they suck, they wouldn't be on there.
That's true. If they weren't in the NBA Cup, they wouldn't have been on there. You're right.
And I listened to a little bit at halftime. A bunch of knuckleheads. But they did say that really hit me was the fact that they say Oklahoma City never makes a bad play. No. Now, they don't make every shot and they don't make every pass, but everything has a purpose.
Yes.
And there's a poetry to it.
Yes.
And
everybody's in sync.
I thought that was that I wouldn't have thought of.
Well, you saw it as the game went on, and they don't take their foot off the pedal.
No.
They all year long they haven't taken the foot off of their pedal at all.
This is an SCA versus Podunk High School, and
you put your JV guys in with the hope that nothing happened. Mm-hmm. You don't score after that and stuff. No, this is and it's they just play right and they keep working. I saw a quote from somebody with Oklahoma City like 2 weeks ago that I thought about last night. I completely forgot about it. Then last night it hits me. Well, they were just like, in these games, we still work on what we need to work on during these games. Right. So basically, they treat them like glorified practices when they blow everybody out. They've blown everybody out except for one team, and that's the Suns last time they played. And other than that, they've blown everybody out.
It's so hard. The human mind is so hard to convince, hey, we're up by 30 going into the fourth quarter. Keep pressing.
Well, that's what they do. They put their backup guys in, and they basically say, you want to be a part of this team? You run this offense. You integrate into this deal. And what that's going to do, Dale, this is what's sickening about it. What that's going to do is let's say SVA pulls a hamstring or Chet pulls a hamstring or, one of their superstars pulls a hamstring. they're going to have a guy off the bench that's played a lot of minutes this year and has been integrated into the system to where they're not going to have a letdown very much when he
Yeah.
goes into the game at some point when somebody gets hurt. That's what's nauseating about it. I'm literally watching it last night, just like, dude, NBA, like, break this team up, man. What are we doing?
And guess what,
They're
Steve?
they're all young.
Guess what, Steve? They have multiple first-round
know.
picks over the next 5 years,
They're
too.
going to have to make decisions. Like, they're going to have to
Yes.
make decisions. Do we pay this bench guy that plays really well with us, or do we have to let him go because our salary cap and things? Like that?
Here's some minutes played for their starters just last night. The league MVP, say SGA,
Yeah, what, 30 minutes about?
27.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. That's generally what he
He's
averages.
now a point a minute guy, 28 points in 27 minutes.
Well, he was slacking last night.
You know, Dort played 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren played 25. I mean, that is a glorified practice.
Yeah, no, that's what they do. That's how they treat them. They go out there, they get the big lead, and then they just go, okay, everybody relax. Yeah, backups go out there. Guys off the bench go and play. It's an amazing thing to watch. But I didn't take it. I wasn't upset about the loss last night. I mean, if anything, I marveled over it. I mean, look, if you don't know where the NBA is heading right now, it's Oklahoma City championship, or there's going to be a major upset. They are heads above the rest of the league. Going into, they were the heads above the rest of the league last year. They're heads above the rest of the league this year. If you don't know what's coming, you're not paying attention. So there's no shame in losing them that fashion last night because they beat everybody that way.
I just saw this.
The Suns scored 89 points.
Guess what?
They were never in this game.
Guess what Dylan Brooks is over plus minus was last night?
Mm-hmm. Was it huge? Like in the 30s?
Minus 47. and guess what? Grayson Allen tried to catch him. He's minus 41.
Yeah, well, he missed most of that, all the fourth quarter, right? Half of the third on top of it.
Like hey, you gotta tip your cap.
How soft is the NBA, by the way? Go ahead.
You gotta tip your cap to them. I think we're having a little bit of fun with it, but they are.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, they're kind of Chicago Bulls like.
I'm going to argue they're better than that. Was it 73 win Bulls team? They're better than that team in terms of their record and how they're playing to start.
So if they go 24-1 every 25 games, that means they'd be 75-3.
Yeah, 3 losses on the season. It's gonna be nauseating.
I started 72 and
you would think as you get closer to playoff time, they'll start resting guys and things like that. So they might lose a few. Towards
what are you resting them from, Steve?
Well, that's the problem. Hey, you guys played too much of the third quarter today, so we're gonna set you guys out now. As well. They've tied the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors for best 25-game start in NBA history. The Warriors then were 24-0 before they fell. They lost their 25th game there at that time. So they tied them at least in terms of the record. But the Warriors, because the Warriors won 24 in a row, they were a little bit better as well. Golden State ended up winning 29 of its first 30 games that season, 36 of its first 38. So that's kind of what Oklahoma City is going to. And I'll say this, if you get to the end of the season and you only have 1 or 2 losses, let's just say, even 3, you're eyeing the best record of all of NBA. So I don't know if you do rest guys at that point.
Well,
right?
and
you go for that record, don't you?
Just so we're clear, the Bulls, I think, won 72-10.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
And Golden State has the record at 73.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I knew 73 was the number. So, okay, so Golden State does have the record.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, if you're going for that record, you're not going to be resting people and stuff. You're going for that record, right? If you get to like March and that record's in line, you're not going to rest guys.
Yeah, but if you're doing this, you're still resting guys. Not like Michael Jordan had to play 37, 38, 39 minutes a game.
That is true. Last year, this is what's sickening here. Last year, Oklahoma, when they won the championship quite easily, right? They posted the biggest scoring margin in NBA history. 12.9 points per game is what they won by last year when they won the championship as well.
Right.
The scoring differential this season, 17.5 points per game so far this season. That includes last night's victory as well.
Well, that's because again
They're beating everybody by an average of 17, and that includes the Suns losing to them by what was it, 2 or 4 points just a few weeks ago.
And that includes, the last 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter, some teams throwing in some 3-pointers to get within 17.
17 and a half points per game is what they're winning by to start this season at that time. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They've Oklahoma City 17th win by 10 or more points this weekend was last night. 17th out of 24, 10-plus point wins as well. That ties for the second most through 25 games ever. At that point, Boston had 19 double-digit wins in the first 25 games, and that dominant 2007, 2008 season for them as well. So, here's the other side of it. They became the first franchise to have that many double-digit wins this early in back-to-back seasons as well. This isn't just Oklahoma City surprising you this year. They were this dominant last year as well, and they went on, obviously, to win the championships. And I think they had 17 double-digit wins in the first 25 games of last season as well for them. So, woo-wee. They also, last night, the Suns can go down in the record book for this, Dale. Last night was the first time a team led by 50 points at any point in the NBA season. That was last night in the fourth quarter.
Suns just weren't feeling it, Steve.
No, the Suns were playing hard. They matched physicality.
Yeah.
But did you end up finding it on Amazon Prime, or
I
were
did.
you just okay?
Yeah.
The thing that shocked, and I've seen several Oklahoma City games this year. The thing that amazes you about them is even when you're like playing awesome defense, somebody finds it and they shoot it and it just goes in. It's like you can play awesome defense for the whole shot clock, and then just out of nowhere, somebody gets a ball and just was like, oh, boop. It just goes in, no matter where they're at on the court. You can play the best defense on the planet, and they still just go ahead and make it. And you saw that last night as well. I don't think there's any shame. I mean, it's terrible, right? Huge 49-point loss last night. You don't like to see that. But, I mean, let's face it. Suns are playing better than we expected, but they're very few teams are in the league of Oklahoma City, and the Suns aren't even close to that level now. And they're not alone. So I have no issues with last night's game.
No. Hey, you just chalk it up. You made it to the quarterfinals. You get a $60,000 bonus,
right?
And you move on.
They don't get to go to Vegas now, though. You think they're all excited to go to Vegas?
They can go to Vegas whenever the heck they want to.
Well, they're off till Sunday.
Yeah.
They can go to Vegas now if they want.
Yeah. And they won't have to play.
Programming note really quick. No Lou today. Lou has a personal thing he's got to go deal with. He had to go back to Omaha for the last part of this week. So no Lou today as well. We'll get him back next week out there. I'll tweet out his blog posts and everything later on at TME Sports Show for those of you that like to know his UFC stuff and everything, and all of that stuff. So that way you guys can kind of be up on that with Lou. But in terms of Lou, he's fine and his family's fine from that perspective. But had to take care of something personal there. So we'll get him next week, folks, out there. And first of all, second of all, I appreciate everybody through the direct messages or comments or whatever. Their thoughts. People loved that interview yesterday. The roasting of Steve yesterday that happened here in the studio. But everybody enjoyed that with Paul Mercurio yesterday. So I appreciate everybody's feedback on that as well. Dale, not so many positive vibes on that. Just kidding. That was just from Paul. I don't know.
He did jump on it pretty quick, though, didn't he?
We'll get into the Grayson Allen foul here in a little bit and everything, but I want to, Dale takes off early today as well. He goes over and does the hit over there with Holmberg's Morning Sickness. Dale gets made fun of, and they talk weird things over there and stuff like that. Check that podcast
Talk about
out
Steve.
later on.
I'll bring up the doesn't know how to change a spare tire.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let me hear that. Yeah. You and Holmberg don't know how to change spare tires. This is the funny part. I want to do that, and I let him rip me, and then I want to listen to that later on when I pull up the podcast because Holmberg doesn't know how to do any of that stuff.
I bet you he does, and I know I've had to change 2 tires. One of them, probably the scariest moment of my life. I was going to say it yesterday, but Brooke Kendall and I were coming back from California on the I-10.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like you said, driving along the I-10. All of a sudden, it wasn't like the car's kind of leaning a little bit. It was a boom, and boom, 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 boom.
Hits you quick.
And so I pull over. Thank goodness I didn't lose control.
Yeah.
And
Front
so
tire?
It's back left tire.
Okay, that's why. Yeah.
And I get over as far as I can. There's kind of a dirt ledge.
Yeah, big drop off.
And so I'm having to change the tire on
Yeah.
the traffic side.
Yeah.
And it's about 8:30 at night.
Oh, so it's dark.
And there's cars just flying by.
100 miles an hour
Like,
by.
oh.
No, you know what that is, Dale? That's a call for AAA right there. Let that nice little
Yeah,
skinny
we
lady.
were
I
out
know.
in West Arizona
Yeah,
somewhere.
I know. You got to do it yourself.
Actually, Brooke was the smart one. She called the police.
Yeah, and they came.
And they came, and the dude didn't help me, but at least he parked behind me and put the lights
See, that's the
on.
problem. You should have got in the back and laid on the floor or something. Because Brooke gets out, he would have changed that tire so fast that Brooke and your daughter got out of the car and was like, "Oh, help this." He would have been like, "I got you, you, ladies."
I'm a man, Steve.
Yeah, well, I have no shame. I have no shame. We've encountered that also. Oh, Lordy. Well, I got to think about that. What do I do? If I go on a road trip, and I get a flat tire, what do I do?
I got my little tubey thing.
Oh, you're killing me. But I wanted to bring this up to you, Dale, before you take off as well. D-backs, of course, play in Mexico City coming up April 25th and 26th for next season. Going down to Mexico. I believe they play the Padres for this. So international games for your Arizona Diamondbacks, Mexico City. That's a long trip. I mean, that's, 6-hour flight, stuff like that, the festivities. It's kind of like the Japan. I just don't like them. And to begin the season where they're playing over in Japan. So at least this is in the regular season. But it still messes it up, right, and everything. But here's my point here. Throw up the graphic here that the Diamondbacks put out announcing they're going to Mexico City. Dale, do you notice anything about this graphic at all? Just anything at all in this graphic?
Is there no Ketel Marte?
No, there is a Ketel Marte.
Okay.
There is a Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
He's not going to be part of this team next year. What are we doing advertising Ketel Marte and this stuff? They went into the winter meetings not sure if they'd be able to trade him. Bob Nightingale's reporting the Diamondbacks think they'll be able to trade him now. Well, then trade him. What's the holdup here? If you think you can trade him,
Well, you
why
want to
didn't
get the
trade
most
him?
you can, Steve. Don't
Give
rush
me-
into it.
Give me a break. That's what the winter meetings are for. People are held hostage there. You put them in a room, put the spotlight on them, and they give you whatever you want for them. But yeah, why are we advertising Ketel Marte on this when he's not supposedly going to be part of this team?
Because he's a part of the team right now, just like, we could talk about that any of the next 3 months.
No, I just want to point that out. You can't say we're actively trading this guy and he's going to be gone from our squad and then start advertising him. That's not fair to the Mexico City series. How many people are buying tickets down there with Ketel Marte showing up?
Oh, what I want to get off my chest before I get out of here. Obviously, a couple of things that happened yesterday off the field up in Michigan, in Scottsdale. No more fighting Hellestrays, by the way.
Yeah, no, I texted you. I got to quit calling them the fighting Hellestrays.
For those of you who don't know, the athletic director's in hot water for sending a middle school kid inappropriate texts.
Middle school kid. I had heard the rumors that, it was inappropriate text to something. I just assumed it. Maybe it's a 17-year-old. Maybe it's an 18-year-old, something to that effect. Came out middle school yesterday. The athletic director swore. Now, keep in mind, this is what, before you finish that, keep in mind, this is a school that lost a lot of transfers last year because the principal sent an email complaining about the music that the kids were listening to, which had some words that white people don't use.
Well, you usually don't use them in an educational setting.
Well, let's put it that way. That's a good way of putting it. And so a lot of kids transfer because they're like, we're getting out of this.
Well,
we're getting away from this.
the email spelled out the N-word.
It said it, yeah.
Yeah.
And so all the kids were like, we don't want to be part of this, whatever.
Right.
That same principal had an athletic director that's sending inappropriate messages to middle school kids.
Yeah. Or a middle school kid. But
what-
who knows how many, but whatever.
What is happening at the Fighting Hellestrays?
Yeah, I thought you said you're done with that. And then you have the coach at Michigan Sharon Moore.
What the heck is that guy? I hope that guy gets the help he needs, man. He's lost it.
Hey, the details are still a little murky, but boy, every time something else comes out,
It's getting pretty clear.
it's more tragic and more tragic and more tragic. But I was thinking about this last night. I actually had a hard time falling asleep. 'Cause I was thinking about your boy Sammy Levitt and the fact that he didn't show up to the football banquet.
Sammy, leave it town. Sammy, leave it.
I started thinking would there have been any quarterback that I played with, whether it be in college at SMU or in the pros?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously pro banquets are different than college banquets. And how I would have responded, or how our offensive line unit would have responded.
Who was your quarterback at SMU?
A guy named Lance McElhaney for the first 3 years, and a guy named Don King. Both stand-up dudes.
Don King, huh?
And whatever. Yeah, not the Don King. I'm not that old.
Man, well, he went on to do Tyson stuff. Huh? Well, good for him.
But I started thinking, like, all good quarterbacks I've been a part of have a good relationship with their offensive line. A lot of times they're boys with a lot of the offensive line.
Absolutely.
That's who they hang out with. That's who they go out and have beers with or do whatever. And the more I thought about it, the more pissed off I got that this guy dissed that entire team. And I think what really set me off was when Dillingham yesterday said, this is to celebrate this past year's team.
Yeah.
Not next year.
Well, you're talking about the bowl game thing?
No, I'm not talking about the banquet.
No, the banquet, yeah.
This to celebrate 2025.
Yes.
And
he was part of that team.
And I'm thinking, if I'm a lineman, and I know we got a lot of money, I have no idea how much money he got to come back.
Who, Sam Levitt?
Yeah.
$2 to $3 million. I can confirm that to you guys now. If you don't know that, it was a $2 to $3 million deal for multiple years.
Okay. So you have that. You have him not having a good year, then missing a bunch of time. And if I was on the team, obviously I'd know exactly how his foot got hurt. And I would also probably look at it. You played a game or two after that TCU game when you said you heard it. And I would know that
the inside
most
work.
likely didn't happen on the football field.
Yeah.
And I'd put all that together. And I would be furious with this little guy.
Hey, no, say it. Say it, man. Preach it.
I'd be furious.
Yeah.
And whether you're leaving or not, if you're leaving, you got to do you.
Like, you can be upset a player's leaving because you're like, dude, you're leaving us. But you also recognize, like you've had, like John Gieseck left the Cowboys and went to the Redskins at the time, and took a lot more money to go there.
Yes.
So you're probably disappointed he left you, but at the same time you're going, go get that bag,
you
buddy.
Say yes. And if Sam ever go get more money somewhere, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, I'm not mad about him leaving.
I'm mad
upset
that
about
you
it.
didn't show up as a captain, that we voted for you as a captain, and there are some teams that just vote the quarterback a captain, even though he's not the leader of the team and the more of the position. Yeah. But it just chapped me. The more I thought about that.
Hey, look at Dale just laying in bed. Brooks like, he's thinking about
I'm
other
tossing
women.
and turning, and Brooks is probably thinking, what girl is he
I know,
thinking about?
Exactly. You're just thinking about Sam Levitt. No, that's why I lean on you on that, because like I'm disappointed in him. My opinion of Sam Levitt is 100% changed. On, I told you guys, he would have been regarded. Now he would have been Cam Scatterby level. We had fun with that yesterday with Paul. Because he was not saying anything wrong about Cam Scatterby, but I was like, hey, just to warn you, buddy, don't come here saying it that way here. He's a local god, but he's not in those levels. But he's next tier of a kid that came here, performed well, got him to the Big 12 championship game. He would have been revered, and I think he's going to be less revered now. And what sucks the most about it is, it's his representation telling him to do that.
Yeah, but I'm telling my representation I'm going to celebrate with my boys.
Well, that's
it's
the
his
other
brother.
Thing. That's the other thing. He doesn't stand up to. What does that say about a kid when he doesn't stand up and push back against his representation? Say, no, I'm going to go do this because it's the right thing to do.
This isn't some 50-year-old, seasoned dude who's been doing this for a few years.
Yeah.
This is brother.
I know, but it's a banquet. That's the thing. I can understand. Don't like Jordan Tyson announced he's going to the NFL draft. That's not a surprise to anybody, but it's official now. He's going to that draft.
Right.
Jordan Tyson, when he tore his thing, he was always on the sideline.
Oh.
He was always talking to his. I watched him on the sideline. He'd go into the huddles and talk to wide receivers. He'd throw the ball. Got quarterbacks warm up on the sideline. He'd be catching them, handing them off. Doing all that stuff. He was integrative. He was innovative. He was out there doing it. And I get it. Sam Levitt, after the surgery, the doctors probably didn't want him out there. So I'm not saying the same thing. And he was there for the Territorial Cup with Cam and everything off to the side with the scooter. But yeah, this is a banquet. This isn't a practice for the Sun Bowl. It's not even the Sun Bowl itself. Like, I don't know if Tyson's going to go to the Sun Bowl. We know he's not playing in it.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I know that there's a chance he could go to the sideline and watch his team play because he's done it all year long. Sam Levitt's going to be nowhere near there. And it's just like, what are we doing? No, it's taking the shine off me. So I actually wonder that from the locker room side of it because, I mean, this, and then I played it yesterday, Kenny Dillingham talking about the bowl game. Hey, if you're in the transfer portal, we don't care.
Right.
Just come. You're part of this 2025 team, and the Sun Bowl is this 2025 team. So even if you're not going to play in it, come on, let's go. Support your team. Come out to practice while you're here, all of that stuff. And Kenny, this is the other part of it that kind of hurts Sam Levitt. I was thinking about this, not last night. I was tossing.
You were tossing and turning last night. That's your ankle. That's because your ankle.
Kenny Dillingham constantly said, we want kids that want to be here.
Right.
That's his motive and his MO. Well, his quarterback that he brought in from Michigan State, put him on the map. Let's face it.
Yep.
Put him on the map, did all of that stuff, and he's got that much disrespect for his head coach and not show up on that tells you. That tells me Sam Levitt's selfish, man. That's what I get out of this.
Well,
it's just a guy on the outside looking in. He's a very selfish human being right now at this age where it's about him and not his teammates and his team. And it would be one thing if he signed with, let's say he signed with Georgia and he's in Georgia. That's different. He's literally hanging out in Tempe or wherever, and he could be there.
So here's just a possible minuscule one-off. What happens if he's pissed at ASU because he wanted to come back and ASU said, you know what, we're covered.
I've questioned that.
We're covered, and you go do your deal.
They went back to ASU because they did. If they did it, they went back to ASU and said, we want $4 million.
Yeah.
$5 million.
Whatever the number is.
Whatever. And ASU went, no, we're good.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
No.
Because we have other positions we need to fill. So it's not that ASU can't pay that much money to one player. It's that if they pay one player that amount, they're not going to be able to pay other people. Offensive linemen are $500,000 million to come here and stuff to that effect. We got that confirmed in the Big 12 recently and things like that. But, so you would take away from other positions that you need. But I also heard the PHNX guys reported one of the reasons Sam Levitt doesn't want to come back, they don't have faith that ASU is going to be able to build a lineman group to protect Sam Levitt.
Oh.
That was the rumor out there. And what I say on that is look at the blatant disregard and that's what kind of makes you fall in love with him, Sam Levitt, man. He just runs, he puts his head down, doesn't slide, doesn't dive, and he's just physical quarterback. They protected him enough this year. Where he got hurt was his running. Like he got hurt in that what was that game where he went out finally and his first play of the game or first big run of the game and he gets hurt because he's diving and gets hit and then he's got an upper body injury and stuff to that effect. You can't be blaming the offensive line and Kenny Dillingham for not putting. And then ASU goes and signs that 6'8" kid that was going to go to Georgia instead. I just think there's a lot of excuses. Just say. And I know it's hard to do, but just say, hey, man, I got to think about my future, and my future might be elsewhere.
Yeah, but again, none of that has anything to do with showing up to the banquet.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. It is disappointing because I really like Sam Levitt and everything, and now I'm just like, oh, he's not the character I thought he was. And like I said, it's the blatant disrespect to a coach that preaches all of this stuff, and then you're the one that's turning your back on him.
And the last thing I'm thinking is with these, I can envision a point in time where some of the boys up front get a text from Sam that night.
It's been reported. I'll go a step farther. It's been reported Sam Levitt and Kenny Dillingham had a meeting hours before that banquet.
Okay. So maybe someday it'll come out. Maybe it never will. Maybe he was told, no, we don't want you back. He was pissed, got his feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I was envisioning is I'm a junior offensive lineman. And I'm a starter for them. And the banquet's halfway over, whatever, and all of a sudden I get a text from Sam going, hey, let's meet for beers after.
Do you think Sam Levitt texted anybody during the banquet?
I don't know.
Hey, why don't you guys get out of there and come join me?
No, not to leave. But I could see him saying, hey, let's get together after for beers or whatever.
I don't know, man. I that would be more brazen than I even think he's got. I think like if you're done, right? For whatever
reason. But you
reason.
still got friends. I would hope.
Yeah, but you're not going to interrupt.
If you don't, then that's part of the problem.
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. I mean, I got video today. We're going to talk about it. An Oklahoma player is taking a lot of his NIL things and giving it to 18 walk-ons for Oklahoma because of what they do in practice, and they don't get recognized and things like that. I got the video of where he announces it today. Sam Levitt gave money to his players, in his NIL and stuff like that. It just, like I said, I equate it to the Herm Edwards thing, where you think somebody is one way, and you find out they're not.
It's a rotten ending.
Disappointing.
Yep.
Absolutely. All he had to do was show up to nobody. I mean, some people will blame him, but nobody's going to fault him to leave to go to another school. Even if it is, you don't think Kenny Dillingham can get a line to protect you. We can all go, okay, maybe that's right. Maybe it is. Hey, I'm going to go for the money because I don't know what my pro career is going to be right now. I need to go get this money for my family, etc. All right, man, go get it. We'll still root for you. Go get it. Just don't go to Texas Tech.
But if
we'll root for you.
If Texas Tech's offering you $5 million, nobody else is offering you more than $2 million, I'm still not going to be mad at you.
Oh no, I'll be pissed if he goes to Texas Tech. But it's not that you're leaving.
Right.
It's how you leave.
Yep.
It's all the time. Look, you're getting a divorce or whatever. Just get up and walk out. More respect for you than if you sit around and fight all the time and argue about who gets the dolls, and you fight about that for months at a time. You look like an idiot. Just, it's how you leave situations that you get judged, and he's leaving very poorly. Now, do you chalk it up as here's my problem. The day and age of, they're just college kids, that's done, folks, in my eyes. That's done. Like, one reason I don't boo in sporting events is because, I'll do it jokingly from time to time, but I don't boo in stuff, especially at college games, because they're amateurs, right? Those days are gone, though.
Yeah,
those days
they
are gone. We cannot sit here and say, Sam Levitt's just a young kid. He doesn't know any better. Nope. Sorry. That doesn't fly anymore. That kid's making enough money. He's got enough people around him that, there's no more immaturity on that side where you can push it off as, he's going to learn from. Nope. Sorry. That's not the case anymore.
Guess what? If a kid in the School of Engineering takes a $1 million job with some chip company and he sucks at a job, he can get fired.
Absolutely.
I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm an intern and I'm screwing up, that's a whole different thing. But
it's just I agree. But that's what kept you up last night, huh?
It did for a little while, and then I just said, "Why do I care?"
Robert also, I think it harkens you back as you get older, right? Harkens you back to the day. Yeah, could you imagine if you did something at the end of the season, and Cowboys got everybody together, and then Troy's like, "Yeah, I'm not going."
Yeah, no. I'm mad at him.
That would be it. Yeah, it'd be.
We would be anyway.
But we talked about when Emmitt Smith hung out at the beginning of that season. You guys started 0-2 or whatever. Yeah. And all that. I've asked you before. I'm like, did you guys hate him? I think your response was, correct me if I'm wrong. Your response was, no, we understood. He's go get your own money.
You never go into somebody else's pocket. We were disappointed because the coach kept on telling us this Curvin Richards dude's as good as Emmitt. Yeah, right.
I distinctly remember Jerry Jones at halftime on, I think it was Monday Night Football, early, that game, and Jerry Jones is like, we're going to be perfectly fine without Emmitt. Yeah, we'd love to have him here, but I'm not going to be held hostage. Literally, that game ended, and Emmitt was in camp like a day later.
Yeah, fork it over, Jerry.
I distinctly remember that. But yeah, no, so like I said, there's a fine line between the two, but just the blatant disrespect is what makes me angry. Robert, by the way, points out in that Diamondbacks post that I put out there, Alec Thomas is on that poster also. The reason why I'm not including Alec Thomas with the Ketel Marte deal, because Alec Thomas might be traded. They're going to trade McCarthy or Thomas coming up here, if not both of them. It's just that, they tried to trade Thomas last year, right? And there's a chance Thomas could come back on. But I mean, I put it to 0% chance Ketel Marte's back on this team.
Well, who else? I mean, they're running out of guys. Who you can put on there? AJ Puck,
Corbin Burns.
yeah.
Why not just have two people on there? It just cracks me up because that's April and you're advertising your star player that's not going to be here. Then it just bothers me. They're just ripping off the Mexico City fan base at that point. They're all going, "Oh, we're going to go see Ketel Marte. We're going to go see Ketel Marte." Then he's not there.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be like, "That what I do with my tickets?"
Hold on, April 20. Is he going to be in the Dominican Republic or is he going
to? That was my original joke. Was is Ketel Marte going to miss the plane there? Is he going to have to take those 2 games off because the travel's too much? He's too sleepy down there. The travel hurt too much, so he's going to have to take the day off. Dale,
crazy?
Dale, get out of here. Go do your Holmberg thing. Have fun with those boys.
Well, I can already hear the rating spike.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I walk out
actually,
the door.
I can tell you right now, yeah, it's great. It's gaining up right now. It's amazing.
There you can sit through the commercial break.
Watching here. I know, man. They just know you're leaving. They're starting to tune in.
The second hour, Steve's going to spend one segment teaching everybody how to change a flat tire without getting your hands dirty.
I know how to change flat tires. I didn't have anything to change it to.
No, you said your first response is called AAA.
No, that wasn't my first was. My first was blow it up and then kind of like get it down, like just drive it down. And if you have to stop to fill it up on your way, you do that. But it was by myself. My first response in the morning was, "Hey, when you get out of school today, we need we'll take the tire off, take the rim to discount tire, have them replace it, come back and do it." But again, I can have all the excuses in the world. He had that big dentist appointment for his braces, 2 hour there. We just didn't have the time. It was a limited amount of time to get that tire fixed, Dale. Limited amount of time, people. Listen to me. Limited. Get out of here. Go do nonsense with Holmberg and the boys. For everybody else, I'll get you through the rest. We'll keep talking Major League Baseball a little bit to have some more thoughts on the Mexico deal for the Diamondbacks. Pete Alonso. Orioles? Okay. As well. And then, look, if you're looking for something fun to watch today, ASU Volleyball, 11 a.m., ESPN2, Sweet 16. Volleyball tournament, Dale. You know you're going to tune into that.
My goodness.
Everybody else, come on back. I'll get you through the rest of the show.
Is there football this weekend, Steve?
Well, bowl games start on the 13th. We're going to be picking bowl games tomorrow, Dale. The L.A. Bowl is this weekend on the 13th.
God bless
him. Come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here. Main event still on Thursdays. Look at this. We got all this other stuff in here. Doesn't need to be in the shot as we talk here. Dale goes off and does his KUPD hit here today. And so I'll get you through the rest because no Uncle Lou today, unfortunately. He had a take care of something and head back to Omaha for the back part of this week. He will. He apologizes. He apologized profusely. And I said, don't worry about it. It's not your, you have other things to worry about. So we'll get him back next week out there as well. Of course, last UFC fight of the year is this weekend at the Apex coming up. And then on top of that, last one on ESPN 2, or ESPN Plus, excuse me, and before it switches to Paramount coming up here in January as well. There are some good fights in this fight coming up here. Look, I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, you know what I should do? I should totally act like I'm Lou and just start going through the fights and everything. Royval and Cop, that's going to be a fantastic fight. That's the main event there at the Apex coming up here as well. The next fight after this one, well, it's UFC 324. It's not till January 24th. That's going to be in Las Vegas, T-Mobile. So what's that? About a month break there for the UFC after this, and then they start off with Paramount. Two numbered events in a row starting next year. January 24th at T-Mobile, January 31st, excuse me, and that's the Volkanovski and Lopez 2 fight. So 324, 325 a week apart, and the second one there on the 31st of January, Australia coming up there. And Australia is funny to me because they still fight at the same times we expect them to fight, 7 p.m., right, is when they fight. That's middle of the morning for them over there and everything. So that's what we got. So the fight this weekend. And like I said, there are some good fights here on this Apex. Is the last fight of this year. Because usually Apex fights, we talk about it all the time, where it's a bunch of no-name people out there, and you just don't know who they are, et cetera, et cetera. There are some name guys on here probably trying to get in a fight here to end the year as well. So, but we'll get Lou next week in here again. Talk, of course, NFL for about a month or so before NFL playoffs start and wrap up the NFL season as well. NFL game tonight, we'll talk about that coming up. Kind of a snoozer, to be honest with you. The eliminated Falcons get out tonight, but where's not a snoozer, Tampa Bay needs to find a win. Holy moly, Tampa Bay needs to find a win. They're playing terrible right now. Lost, 5 of the last 7 or something ridiculous like that. As we said earlier in the show, just talking Major League Baseball, having some fun with the Diamondbacks Mexico City ad that they threw up there. After the winter meeting, Bob Nightingale's reporting the Diamondbacks believe they're going to be able to trade Ketel Marte this offseason. Bob Nightingale also reported going into the winter meetings that they don't know if they'll be able to trade Ketel Marte. Now they have confidence they're going to. There's a lot of big-name people out there. Now, I think you have to get through some of these free agents before you get to trade bait and stuff like that, right? Who, like we know the Orioles got Pete Alonso, 5 years, $155 million there for Baltimore. Schwarber went back to the Phillies for a 5-year, $150 million, if I remember correctly. Where it is, Edwin Diaz sides with the Dodgers as a reliever, closer, of course. So you're seeing those guys go. You're not going to trade for Ketel Marte if you're in the talks here with some of these high-end free agents. So whoever loses out on the free agency side of things is who's going to go out there and possibly make a trade for Ketel Marte coming up. I do believe, and I told you this before, I do believe 0% chance that Ketel Marte's back with the Diamondbacks. They're going to unload him. It's just, are they going to get the value? And I don't think you're going to get the value back for him. You're not. You're going to trade him and have a loss of a trade. How close can you get the talent level is the question we need to pay attention to with the Diamondbacks trading Ketel Marte. But I'll just tell you right now, I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to lose this trade on paper. You better get a couple Major League Baseball talent kids back for Ketel Marte. If you trade Ketel Marte and you get 6 prospects or something, no, not interested. Not interested in that. You have to get it 1, 2 Major League guys that can play on this Major League roster. You need a first baseman. I think third base is kind of solved with your young kids that can kind of rotate around as well. And then, of course, you got Lawler if he can stay healthy coming over and, being able to play that position as well. But can you trade those guys? Or can you get it? But I think you can't trade for just prospects, Ketel Marte. I will lose my mind if you do that as well. So, hot stove here. Major League Baseball will quiet down here for a little bit after the winter meetings. That's when the big deals get done at that point as well. In the winter meetings. Then kind of quiet down. Yuzhensky, outfielder there, was with the Giants for a bunch of years. He signed a 2-year, $23 million deal with the Braves yesterday as well. For him, now there's a lot of. I'm surprised the Orioles won the Pete Alonso trade. I thought he might end up at the Red Sox, to be honest with you, is what I kind of thought was happening out there. Steve Gilbert, who's a beat writer for Major League Baseball and specifically the Diamondbacks as well. Diamondbacks, it was quietly done, and we didn't really talk about it here, but they did sign a right-hander pitcher, Mike Soroka, to a 1-year, $7.5 million deal. There's performance bonuses and things that you get in it. So basically, the value on that contract, $9.5 million, is what it can go up to. It's just typical Diamondbacks shopping at Ross when everybody else is at Macy's or Nordstrom's or something to that effect. They look for the value to bring guys in. We need the value of guys. We want to pay them a little. We want to get as good a talent as we can get for as little as money as we can get. And that's how we're going to build our team. It's no wonder they continue to struggle and miss out on playoffs and disappoint out there with that attitude as well. So the report is, I told you Bob Nightingale's reporting Ketel Marte is expected to be traded. There's big thoughts on that after the winter meeting. Even Steve Gilbert here in this article, it says Diamondbacks discovered a few more teams that were interested in Ketel Marte as well. Yeah. Now, Mike Hazen said he's doing the tough guy thing. I don't think anything's going to come out of this. Which tells you one thing. If the Diamondbacks keep Ketel Marte, it's that they're not getting value for him. Like I said, I'll repeat it again. Diamondbacks aren't going to get equal trade value for Ketel Marte, or they're not going to win a trade with Ketel Marte. If Ketel Marte is moved, and I do believe he's going to be moved, if he is moved, the Diamondbacks are going to lose that trade. He's going to be one of the last people to move in terms of big names in this offseason, and that's the reason why is because the offers are going to be low for him. And the Diamondbacks are going to try as hard as they can to get as much value out of it before finally deciding to unload him for less. That's how it's going to go with Marte, and that's going to be disappointing coming to that. I mean, hit us up, right? 623-252-6670 on the text line. Let us know your thoughts on that, wherever you're listening to us, whether it's live here, whether it's on demand later on at Robat TV, on the YouTube channel for the production company here, for our production company, or, of course, on the podcast system. Let us know. Are the Diamondbacks going to get full value for Ketel Marte? I say no. And we're all going to be disappointed in the trade coming up here for him. But at the same time, they have to move him. If you're not changing your culture with the Diamondbacks by getting rid of the coaching staff, you need to change the culture by getting rid of your problem child player. Not talent-wise. I'm talking about the lackadaisical, not, the wind blew sideways. So I got to take the next couple days off. I'm talking about that attitude on this team. You need a sense of toughness. There's toughness on this team. He's the outlier. You got to make changes from that perspective and that side of things as well. So obviously the Diamondbacks need more pitching. We know that as well. Soroka is a starting pitcher, so you need starting pitchers, right? You're going into the season with all the injuries, with very little starting pitching. You obviously need bullpen, you need closers, and all that stuff. They do need one more starting pitcher, though, on this team. Like I said, they need a lot of bullpen help as well, including the side of it. So, they need another right-handed bat out there as well. Offense took a step back last year, which was expected to do, but it took a bigger step back than I even thought they thought they would do as well. Is there a bargain right-handed bat out there that you can bring in? And like I said, first base. Like you can kind of tackle both of those, right? The right-handed bat with a first baseman as well that you're looking for, from that side. Pavin Smith, of course, who's coming back and projected to be a first baseman if he could stay healthy this year. He's a lefty. So that's what they're kind of looking for from that side as well. So Tyler Locklear is recovering from the shoulder and elbow surgery that he had. So who knows when he'll be able to play and come back and stuff to that effect. So in terms of the Ketel Marte, Tori Lavello, like I said, he's been all over the place. I've seen him on a few national programs. I know this morning he was scheduled to be on 98.7. I think it was this morning for his offseason stuff. But I said the other day, I kind of was complaining about him where Lavello was like, well, this is the problem with being in Phoenix is we can't swim with these big fishes in free agency. We have to pick and choose. And, the standard excuses we hear here all the time. And nobody's expecting you to compete with the Dodgers. I'm not even expecting you to compete with the Padres in the way they spend money and stuff like that. You got to be smart with it. I understand it, but get that payroll up, man. Let's go. Your fans support you. Reward your fan base supporting you. But Tori Lavello on Ketel Marte said, quote, teams are smart. They want really good players, and he's one of the best in the National League. So I understand why teams are making phone calls on him. Yeah, but they're offering you less than what he's worth. Because teams know you need to unload him. And I'm going to say this next part carefully. Teams also know they're not sure what they're getting with Ketel Marte. Are they getting a trouble guy? Are they getting a guy that doesn't want to play every day? Are you getting a guy that gets a boo-boo and he has to sit out for a while? You're not going to give up a lot for a guy like that. I think that's kind of the problem that you deal with that from that side as well. So Diamondbacks are at the 40-man roster limit. So they weren't able to select anybody in the Rule 5 draft if you care about those things as well. Diamondbacks under Mike Hazen have never been active in the Rule 5 draft at all, even though they can get that stuff as well. So a little baseball talk here to wrap up this Thursday, first hour of the main event out there. And I'm surprised a lot of other big name guys didn't sign here with the at the winter meetings. It's just there's a lot of big name guys still out there. Like I'm forgetting the Cubs guy Tucker with the Cubs. Kyle Tucker. Holy cow! I don't know why I just thought of that. I couldn't think of his name. He's still out there. I know the Yankees and Mets are kind of in on him as well. So there's some big guys out there as well. That didn't sign. And obviously, count the Dodgers in on any big name free agent out there, folks. Dodgers will get anybody if they're good. At least make a run for him and stuff like that. So he's another big name that's out there as well that everybody's looking at. The big names teams are looking at. So I'm just surprised there's still some guys out there after the winter meetings, to be honest with you. As I said earlier today here, as we wrap up this first hour of the main event, no Lou today. If you're tuning in now to get ready for Lou's segment, no Lou today. He unfortunately had to get to Omaha for a personal matter there. So he'll be back next week with us and everything. So no Lou today, and I apologize for that. He apologizes. As I said, he apologized profusely. He was trying to make it in yesterday at 8 o'clock to get it, but the schedule meant he had to get out of town earlier than he thought he would. So that's why we didn't get him yesterday as well and everything. So just keep your thoughts with him and everything here with the end of this week and that stuff. But I said it earlier as well, right? Some miscellaneous, right? ASU basketball, men's basketball, U of A men's basketball, GCU men's basketball. None of them play till Saturday night. Suns are now off till Sunday. Obviously no hockey team here in town. Cardinals don't play till Sunday coming up here. Obviously no ASU or U of A football for a few weeks out there. So what are you going to watch locally? Nothing's going on the next couple days. Nothing at all. You got Army Navy this weekend, this Saturday. It's just the pageantry of that is what's the football, not so great. But man, the stands and all of that stuff is an amazing thing to watch. But if you're bored today, folks, not bored, just if you're looking for local sports, I shouldn't put them in the category of if you're bored, tune into this. This team is good. This team is fantastic. I know just enough about volleyball to make it deadly. I used to play it when I was even younger. I loved beach volleyball when I was younger. Coach Karai, oh my gosh, amazing stuff. When I was a kid, I'd be up at 3 a.m. watching that stuff on ESPN and whatnot. Sweet 16 for the volleyball, NCAA volleyball, tournament that's happening. Number 2 ranked ASU volleyball plays this morning against number 3 ranked Creighton. 11 a.m. ESPN2. So turn it on while you're working or whatever. Tune into McCollum on Business at 11 o'clock. Watch some ASU volleyball here today. Can they advance here and get to the 8 here for ASU volleyball? They're a fun squad. They're a really good squad. Now, the problem with the volleyball here in the NCAA, as I've been looking into it here, leading into this NCAA tournament, the 4-1 seeds are really, really, really good going into this tournament. There might be a drop down from 1 to 2. ASU is a team, though, that can probably upset a couple of them to get to the finals. We'll have to see if they do it. So check that out. ESPN2 today as well for them, because folks, we don't have a lot of local sports coming out. Bowl games do get started this weekend. First 2 games are on the 13th here this weekend, and it's way too early for the bowl season to be starting. Way too early for the bowl team. LA Bowl's this weekend. The LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk, no less, is this weekend for them as well. So, look, there's just not a lot of local sports happening. Some breaks and things like that effect. So, find it where you can out there. When we come back here in the second hour, we'll hit up the Suns again. We talked about that with Dale here to start the show. But I want to talk about that Grayson Allen flagrant 2. How soft has the NBA gotten? Like, we know they're soft. They take multiple days off and stretches and that effect. But dear God, called that a flagrant 2 last night. We'll talk about it. We'll listen to Grayson Allen after the game in terms of the physicality of that game last night. And quite frankly, in my opinion, I know why the refs called it a flagrant 2. And I'll tell you about that next. Come on back, folks. The main event, second hour, coming up next. And we're back here, second hour main event. It's just me, your humble host, Stephen McCollum, here for the second hour. Dale Hellestrade, of course, goes over and does his hit there with John Holmberg and the Morning Sickness Boys, Brady and all of them over there. Check out their podcast later on today. Don't go listen to it now. You can wait on that. Check it out later on as well. But I got you through the rest of the show. No Uncle Lou today here in the second hour. Normally he joins us on Thursday. He had a personal matter. He had to get back to Omaha for. So unable to do any appearances here at the end of this week. So we'll get him back next week. And I know I was kind of excited about this Apex. It's the last fight of the year. A couple guys that I know that I recognize, and you guys that follow us with Uncle Lou, I get kind of excited when, in these Apex fights when there's people that I recognize in it as well. I know Lou gives me a hard time about the women fights all the time. One women's fight that I know both of the women fighters as well. So I know he gives me a hard time about talking about them because they usually go to the distance and things to that effect as well. Lou does have his blog up, though, UFC Fight Night, Royval and Kopp coming up here in the Apex as well. Last fight of this year, then we're off until January 24th, the UFC is, and that's when it switches over to Paramount Plus for the rest of the season. 2 numbered fights to begin the season next year. Doesn't matter. There's no pay-per-view anymore after this fight. All on Paramount Plus coming up. So no Lou today. If you're tuning in to listen to Lou, I appreciate it. We'll catch him next week here as well. He does send his apologies to you out there. And I'll get his blog post posted on the @TME Sports Show. Of course, follow us there. Facebook and on X as well for the social media sites. Follow us there with all of that. So we get these posted out, excited news for you and things to that effect and everything. So big NFL battles coming up this weekend as well. But earlier in the show, we talked with Dale when he was here about, the Oklahoma City Thunder start to this season. I gave a bunch of stats. They tied the Warriors in 2015, 2016 for the best 25-game start in NBA history. And the Suns just got dismantled by them last night. I don't think anybody that watches the Suns, I said this earlier, people might be disappointed it was a 49-point loss. But Suns are nowhere. If you thought the Suns were in the Oklahoma City category overall, last time they played, the Suns lost by, 2 or 4? I know they were down by 2 late. I don't remember what the final was. So they hang with them in that one at home, at Oklahoma City, no less, at Oklahoma City's home. So it kind of gave you some hopes they'd be able to stay in this game. It was just a dismantling from the beginning. I'm not upset about it. They're not in that level, period. End of story. Here's the other thing, though. No NBA team is in the level of Oklahoma City. Not Denver, not Chicago Bulls, not Detroit Pistons. Nobody is in even the stratosphere of the Oklahoma City Thunder in the way they're starting the season and playing. By the way, they're just continuing, and I think they've gotten better since last year on top of it. So I'm not upset about the loss last night. I saw some people on Twitter upset about it. I'm not at all. They were a good team out there. But what I want to talk about that we didn't talk about with Dale, so go back to the first hour if you missed the beginning of the show. If you want to hear those stats here on just how good of a start Oklahoma City is having this year, to this first 25 games. Because if they continue this streak, they're going to beat that Warriors record of number 1, in terms of wins on a season. And they're going to do it fairly easily if they keep rolling and doing that. But what I want to talk about, the NBA has turned into a league. Like, go back. For those of you old enough, you'll remember this. For those of you younger, you weren't around for it, go back and watch some videos. The Bad Boy Pistons used to just dismantle. When they were winning the championships and Jordan was coming up, they would just abuse Michael Jordan. Anybody went into the paint in those era, you just got abused down there and physicality and all of that stuff. I do think there's a reason why Grayson Allen got thrown out last night, and they just used it as an excuse. I'll talk about that in a minute. If you missed it last night, this game was very physical. The play before this, Chet Holmgren, he kind of pushed Grayson Allen from behind, didn't get called for it. Then this play happens here. Grayson Allen, Oklahoma City's bringing up the ball. It's Shea Alexander you'll see in the shot. First of all, his facial reaction to what happens cracks me up. Chet Holmgren sells it really good as well. And everything. But here's a close-up here on a replay that the broadcast Amazon Prime last night showed. Grayson Allen and Chet Holmgren. This is that flagrant 2 that's ultimately called. Oh, now it's just sitting there. We're having video problems today. That's why we had 2 commercials there at the top of the hour. So it's not playing, obviously, so never mind there. But basically, Grayson Allen steps up, When they called the flagrant 2, they said that Grayson Allen wound up. No, he didn't. He went and did the thing. Did he push him after he ran into him? Absolutely. Was it a hard foul? Absolutely. Flagrant 1? Absolutely. In today's NBA. It's a joke of a system here with how physical that game was last night that they threw Grayson Allen with a flagrant 2. It was an absolute joke. The NBA has gotten soft.
Your play, but probably everyone didn't see.
I just heard something in my ear, and I don't know what that was. Do you have it again? I'd say if you have it, Kobe, go ahead and play it again there. Sorry. I heard some audio, and I don't know if that went out over the air or not. I never know if it goes out on the air or not. Jacoby, if you got it, just go ahead and play it. If not, and if you think you do, just throw it up, and I'll just keep talking. The NBA is a league where, go back to the 80s, 90s, the games where it was more physical. Obviously, it's changed. But you got guys that just sit on the bench. Go ahead and play it, Kobe. Yeah, here we go. There's no wind up there, right? He takes the block and then just kind of pushes them the other direction, right? That's a flagrant 2. That's not a flagrant 2 by the rules. That's just not. Did you see Shay's reaction? Play it again here. Now watch the ball carrier when this happens. Look at Shay Alexander's reaction. Check this out. Forget about Grayson. He's just like the NBA is a league where guys have to miss multiple games because they sneezed, right? They're just tired. Can't do multiple back-to-backs. Can't do the second night of a back-to-back because they're too tired. Can't do all of this stuff because, the moon, we're in Mercury retrograde or whatever it is. They can't do that stuff. That's just a good hard foul right there. If you want to call a flagrant 1, to be honest with you, I have a beef with that. But in today's day and age, that's a flagrant 1 at least. I firmly believe, you know why Grayson Allen got thrown out on that? Because the Oklahoma City was dominating this game. The game was getting chippy and physical. Suns, I'll give the Suns credit. They were matching the physicality of the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Oklahoma City was not missing very many shots last night. I firmly believe that turned into a flagrant 2 last night because the refs were like, we need to get this under control. This is going to just escalate. There's already a scrum out there. Things. I believe that was called a flagrant 2 because the referee is like, we need to get control of this game. That's 30 points difference. That's why he got thrown out. Here's Grayson Allen after the game. Dwayne Rankin talks to him here at the locker room, in the locker room and everything. So follow Dwayne Rankin if you don't. He's the one beat reporter that follows the Suns everywhere they go, gets the interviews with them in the locker rooms and things like that. Here's Grayson Allen after the game, just talking about that foul and just overall the game that he was in there.
Your play, but probably everyone didn't see the play before with Chet bumping you, not going to. Maybe was that your reaction to that? Maybe just take me through that whole sequence there.
No, it's felt like I gave a good foul within the physicality of the game and what was going on both ends, especially with the bumps on screens and some of the hits on blockouts that were happening. So it was straight up. He was cutting into me, and it's definitely a foul. But I thought it was within the physicality of the game, and I think the reaction and everything afterwards kind of played into that.
Okay. Are you surprised it was a flagrant 2? Because usually, what he was explaining it was like, okay, that sounds like flagrant 1. And then,
when he said the explanation, I thought that was the description of the flagrant 1. But I'm not gonna. They looked at it a bunch of times. I didn't feel like there was wind up. I braced myself. Definitely delivered a bump and a hard foul, but he was straight up. It wasn't like Mark's last game where he was flying through the air. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really sure the rules on flagrant 1s and 2s. I've seen so many of them go different ways.
lastly, you just mentioned physicality. Part of that Chet bump is that he then rolled under you when he fell down. At what point were you like, okay, this is maybe getting the physical? At what point in the game were you like, okay, the physicality is reaching maybe a level beyond?
Yeah, they're obviously a physical team, and that's part of their identity. That's part of how, when you play against them, the game's going to be played. And us as a team, we're a little bit like that too. So any big games like this, regardless of the score, I feel like physicality is going to build up throughout the game, and as players, we just play off of what gets let go and what doesn't get called, and try to match the line. So I think our game against them got more physical as it went on, with us matching their physicality, then matching our physicality. So that back and forth just kind of builds throughout the game.
Yeah, see, I let the whole interview in there. I took it, of course, Dwayne Rankin put that out there. Give him all the credit in the world for getting those interviews as he travels with the team. But I mean, especially at the end there, it's telling, right? Hey, the physicality builds throughout the games. This was a 30-point game for most of it, right after the second quarter. Just the referees at times will make calls to settle everybody down. They'll throw somebody out just to get everybody to settle down and stuff to that effect. I firmly believe what it is, but it just goes to the entity of the NBA soft and continues to show that out there. Oklahoma City doesn't have the right, in theory, to dominate and beat up the Suns all game long and not have the Suns respond. And then the second the Suns respond, he throws somebody out to try to get control again. That's the part I have a problem with trying to get control of this game. You could have done stuff against Oklahoma City. They were doing some stuff out there. But look, the NBA, the chosen ones, say from that perspective. Suns don't play now until Sunday as the NBA Cup continues on, as Oklahoma City moves on, of course, with that victory last night. The Lakers got their victory as well to move on. Hey, Lakers can win 2 out of the first 3 NBA Cups here. If they can get through Oklahoma City here coming up, I think they play on Friday, if I remember correctly, in Vegas. Now the game's moved to Vegas there as well. So a little fun NBA talk there with that. I enjoyed that game a lot last night as well. We do have breaking news right now in the auto racing world. We don't know the terms yet with that 2311 Front Row Motorsports lawsuit against NASCAR. Well, it's officially been settled. The jury's been set home. The teams and NASCAR came to a settlement. This trial has not gone well. Now it's just the prosecution doing their part, or the teams doing their part against it. But Jim Frant, the CEO of NASCAR, looked terrible on the stand from what I was reading yesterday from people that were in there and everything. A settlement. We don't know the terms. We don't know what's being settled here. I do have a feeling we're going to get full-time charters. If you know anything about this, that's kind of the deal. Does the money change? Do rules change out of this? That's something we'll have to see. We don't know the settlement numbers, but that is breaking right now. Follow at the Pit Stop Talk. That's, of course, the Pit Stop social media page. I've already retweeted out the settlement amount there at the last break, or that the settlement has happened. We'll stay on top of that, of course. So race fans, especially NASCAR, you're following this trial. Follow me there at the Pit Stop Talk. And maybe we'll throw up an emergency deal as we get the terms of the settlement. What does it mean? We might do a quick pit stop show here to kind of wrap it up and talk about that here, today or tomorrow, depending on what we find out. Probably tomorrow if we're going to do one, or Monday, depending on what the settlement terms are. But that is breaking right now. That's a huge deal. That's Michael Jordan's team, by the way, for you basketball fans out there as well. As we lead up here to this 11 a.m. ASU volleyball team, well, let's talk a little football out there as well. In terms of the college football things, let's talk about that. Jordan Tyson has officially announced he's going into the NFL draft. Not a surprise to anybody. We all knew he was eventually going to get there and go to the draft. Some say he's a top 10 pick. It's going to be interesting to see how his injuries impact his draft status. Collarbone last year, multiple hamstring issues this year. Is the team going to take him in the top 10 that needs a receiver? Is he going to follow? He's a first-round draft pick, period, even with the injuries. But does he slide down a little bit in this first round of the draft with these injuries? That's the thing to pay attention. He's top 10 talent, folks, period, end of story. The injuries, though, does he slide down a little bit as he's getting ready for this draft and they do the physicals and all of that stuff for him? But that is official now as well for him. Now, there's a lot of talk out there before we get into kind of the bad side. Dale talked about it earlier, with the Michigan head coach. Before we get into that, there's a lot of talk here on NIL, right? Dale's, talked about the NIL and things to that effect. And, I'm not going to name them, but offensive linemen, good offensive linemen, they can command $500,000, to go back to a school or stay at a school or transfer to another school. Really, really good ones obviously can get more. But that seems to be like the going rate for offensive linemen out there. There's some offensive linemen that, some of us know personally, and we got the information that they're staying at their respective schools because of the dollar amounts that they're getting, et cetera, out there. So we kind of know the numbers there and everything. We talked about a lot about what it takes to get a top level quarterback. It starts at $2 million to get a top tier quarterback to come to your school. The really good ones get a lot more. We'll have to wait and see what the story is on Sam Levitt when he does transfer out. If it is a lot more, or if it's still in that $2-3 million range, does it get to 4 or 5, et cetera, out there? But we hear all this stuff, and it's all negative around NIL, right? All these kids going into the transfer portal for NIL reasons, playtime reasons, et cetera, out there. We don't always hear the good side of the NIL. And I saw this yesterday, and this is just an amazing thing to happen. Oklahoma's player, his name's Danny Stutzman. They have their meetings yesterday, of course. They're getting ready to play Alabama in the first round of the college football playoffs coming up and everything. So now this is a meeting. It's obviously on a cell phone, so it might be hard to hear. We'll get the volume as high as we can here. But a lot of negativity around NIL. And we've heard stories, right? I told you earlier, Sam Levitt did spread some money around his teammates as well. Not Carson Beck, excuse me. The number 1 draft pick to the Titans this year, Cam Ward. He literally gave NIL money to his linemen as well when he was at Miami. So you hear of these stories. But those are, obviously to their linemen, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Danny Stutzman did something yesterday that, one, is commendable, but 2, this part of the NIL story just isn't spoken enough of. So I'm going to let Danny Stutzman take this. Yesterday in a meeting, Oklahoma, here's what he did.
I remember talking to CeeLo saying I wanted to send him the walk-ons. I remember Chris Hammock did that, a few months ago, and I was really moved by that. And so, obviously there's days where you feel like your hard work doesn't get seen, doesn't get noticed, but it really does here at Oklahoma. And every single day we appreciate you guys. This team would be nothing without you guys. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I truly do mean that. And I feel like I have a really good connection with all you guys. And I just know how much you guys put into this program, and sometimes you think it's not seen, but it is. And so with that being said, I want to donate some of my NIL earnings to you guys, so you guys can have a little something else after the meetings. This will be in your lockers. So
The interesting thing that, got to keep in mind, walk-ons could be a thing of the past in college football, because they now have to start paying players, scholarships, things to that effect. You're not going to have as many walk-ons come onto these teams. There are 18 walk-ons on Oklahoma this year. If you don't know what walk-ons do, they don't just show up and, go through the motions. They run the scout team a lot. They work out. They work very hard. They don't get to play in the games and get those benefits. And for a star player from Oklahoma to step up, 18 walk-ons, recognizing what they've done for the team to get them ready for games, recognizing their hard work out there. We don't tell enough of those stories here in terms of college football. You hear the rumors, like with Sam Levitt, you just heard he gave some NIL to some of his players. With Cam Ward, you heard he gave it to his linemen to give them some money. You don't see it in this presence very often. So we've got to give credit here, of course, and the good of NIL. I get accused a lot here, focusing on the negative side of sports and things, which there's a lot of it out there. But got to do the good side as well, and like there's no way to avoid this negative story out there. And this was like a drama yesterday, watching this unfold out there and everything. But if you don't know it, Michigan is now looking for a new head coach. When it first broke, it was Michigan has fired their head coach, Ron Moore. And my first thought was, yeah, I do believe he's not the coach for Michigan. I don't think he's a very good coach out there. But I do think, Michigan hired him. He was on the Harbaugh staff. I do think they hired him to get him through this unsure period of sanctions and the cheating scandals and all of that stuff is kind of what I thought they were doing. He's an all right head coach, but keep him relevant, but they're not going to step up like Harbaugh got him to go up, stuff like that. So when they fired him, I was like, oh, wow, weird time to do it, when it wasn't even thought to be on the hot seat or anything. But I was like, oh, maybe that's it. Well, then you started hearing the rumors online, and there were rumors before this. Let's be clear about this. But then you heard rumors that, then it started coming out, not rumors, but there were rumors before, but then it came out, inappropriate relationship with basically a subordinate, right? A staff member on the team. The university generally, right, got Urban Meyer in trouble as well, his affair and stuff like that. You have clauses as a head coach or a coach at all, athletic directors, presidents of universities. Baylor's president just got, or athletic director, he was head of the college football committee, just had to resign because of doing stuff away from the deal that was against the school's, quote unquote code of conduct. We all know BYU's code of conduct is a little rougher than other, more strict and things like that effect, right? So then we heard he had, he had an affair with a staffer. I was like, okay, stop dating your staffers. I even put that out on Twitter in response to Papa Mike out there and everything. And then, like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later after that, you find out he allegedly got the girl pregnant and then had it paid for her abortion. I was even reading to the point where he got caught because a DoorDash driver turned him in. A DoorDash driver delivered Plan B. If this is true, this one I can't verify, but I saw it. I saw some national people talking about it. A DoorDash driver delivered Plan B to his office and then threw the tip into the university, who then started investigating. So he gets fired yesterday. Then you start hearing the rumors that he's been arrested, and you're like, whoa, was this girl underage or something? No, folks. He gets fired. He goes to the house of this lady, goes in, threatens her, threatens to kill her and himself in the house, and he gets arrested and gets hauled off to jail. What a saga that's happening here on the Michigan side. I am in no way making fun of this at all. This is serious. Look, Ed, there's no other way to say it. He cracked. He was able to kind of keep it on the sidelines. That's high pressure being on the sidelines of a Division I school, let alone Michigan with those expectations and that stuff. He's relieved of his duties because of all of this stuff, and he does all this additional stuff that isn't good, and he goes out there. All I can say on this is, one, shocking. What a story. Like if Law and Order SVU wrote this story, you'd be like, you guys are being sensational. I just hope Sharon Moore can get, his college football days. A lot of people do dastardly things out there. It was the Arkansas coach that had his girlfriend on the back of the motorcycle and it crashed, and he got caught doing that and gets fired and all of that stuff. I forget his name. He's back coaching in college football. You have to go start at the bottom again and go up and stuff to that effect. I don't know if he come back from this. I just hope he can get football secondary at this point for him. I hope he can just get the help he needs, because this is serious stuff, and he's, something snapped on that. And I just hope he can get the help that he needs there. But this is just shocking news. Forget about, the dating the staffer, which is not allowed. Forget about all that. It's the escalation of it, that where he's, allegedly in her house threatening to kill them both and things to that effect. That's a level that you don't ever want to see. And like I said, hopefully he can get the help he needs. Obviously, he's got some serious legal problems now coming up and everything. But it's shocking that it comes into that side. Almost instantly, you start getting the coaching rumors as they fired him and stuff to that effect. To the point where Lane Kiffin was asked about the Michigan position after Sharon Moore was fired yesterday. He just got it up at LSU. Would you leave LSU to go to Michigan? I wouldn't, but on that side. So obviously life moves on from that side, but from a human perspective, Sharon Moore needs to find the help, needs to get the help that he needs to overcome whatever demons he's dealing with right now as well, and stuff to that effect. It's just an unbelievable story. And Dale brought it up earlier as well. I know of another head coach in high school last year, about a year and a half now, that got fired because he was, providing vapes to kids at school. He was ushered off of campus. I know some other coaches that get in trouble because they yell at kids and parents don't like it and they complain about it, and administrations basically are toxic at that point with that head coach. And they force him to stop being coaches. There's varying ways to let guys go and stuff to that effect, right? And we talked about it earlier because obviously it's Dale's alma mater. I jokingly call him the Fighting Hellish Rays, and I texted him yesterday when the story broke. It was like, I'm done calling them the Fighting Hellestrace, but it's just last year, we talked about it earlier. Last year, the principal had a bunch of kids transfer because of her email to the kids complaining about the music that they choose to listen to. And there were some words out there, the N word, et cetera, that she wrote out and stuff, and kids just left and transferred, had to sue to get, to play sooner, all of that stuff. The same athletic director that she hired has now been dismissed of his service because sending inappropriate messages, period, but they were reportedly inappropriate message to a middle school kid. Who's vetting these guys? I told you guys I got problems with some athletic directors out there. I got problems with some assistant principals at schools. I haven't even told this story yet. The way I was talked to by an assistant principal a week or so ago, and then he hung up on me when I was just asking simple questions, it's disgusting. What are these school districts? How are these school districts vetting people? How are these school districts? Even this goes to Michigan. How are you not checking up on this? Where's your safety precaution? We're dealing with kids here, folks. Now, when you get to college, they're 18 and above, and they're technically adults, but you put them in your care, right, when they go to your university. Why are we getting these people that are just grumpy all the time? These people doing inappropriate things out there? This falls on. Then you got administrators, principals that are sending emails with words you shouldn't have in them, complaining about music. Where's the leadership here for all of these guys is the big question. I don't get it. I don't know what these school districts are doing in terms of their boards when they're hiring people. The superintendents are hiring people, but I'm tired of it. I am tired of a-holes being assistant principals who don't want to talk to parents and don't want to do all that stuff. I'm tired of reading all these abuses going on with kids out there and things to that effect. I'm tired of the people you guys are hiring to be in charge of kids. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of reading about this stuff. You've got to figure this out, folks. It's very important you figure it out. These are kids. Figure out who you're hiring so kids don't get abused by them. Period. End of story. Fix it. No matter what school district you're in. Scottsdale, Queen Creek, Mesa, Chandler. You have your problems down there in Chandler as well. Figure out who you're hiring. I understand there's a shortage. You're having a hard time finding people. Doesn't mean you have to hire these people. Rather the position be left open than hiring just jerks. People that are mean, that are people that are a-holes. They talk to you like you're in fourth grade when you're asking a simple question. They don't want to answer questions. Oh, we can't tell you that. Yeah, you can. You can tell that because that's my kid you're talking about. Inappropriate messages being sent to you. It's disgusting. And when you're in charge of these kids, you got to be better. Superintendents, the board of directors of these school districts that hire the superintendents. You've got to be better. You know who you're hiring. And you're allowing them to stay in these positions. Now, Sawara, of course, obviously let the guy go. At that point, principal stuck around, though, with her email letter. I don't get it. And I'm tired of reading about it. I'm tired of it continuing to happen. I'm living it in my life with a couple assistant principals. You guys know that school resource officer story I told earlier this year? One of those that was involved with it, just making stuff up, was an assistant principal with a bad attitude. I went up the chain and complained about her. Man, what if she's acting like this to me? How's she treating the kids? I've heard rumors around the school. They didn't care. Oh, we'll talk to her. The other day, I was talking to somebody above that assistant principal who was, quite frankly, just a giant jerk about it. He hung up on me. So I all right, cool. I'll go above you. I'll tell everybody what just happened. Went to the next level. Oh, I'll talk to him about it. Talking isn't enough. You're hiring the wrong people. And I'm tired of reading about it. I'll use this voice to speak out against, we did it against the athletic director at a certain school. He took some heat for that, folks. I'm not here to buzz people. I understand it. Sometimes people don't handle things properly. If you apologize, whatever. Get better at what you do. but you're in charge of, especially in this college environment. Yes, they're 18. I'm assuming she's 18. I didn't check on her age. But yes, they're kids, but they're kids, man, and you should know better as a grown man. You know you're not to be with co-eds in the program. That's against the rules for a reason. Go see your bosses out there. If you're fraternizing with your employees and doing that stuff with your employees, you're not a good person either. There's reason those rules are there. The power discrepancy. We've got to get back on the right track when it comes to these kids, man. We're teaching them the wrong ways, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I know I keep talking about it because I'm so sick of it. I want to keep talking about it. Enough of my soapbox here right now. And when we come back, actually, I tell you what, let's hit this up first. Robert says, don't forget, text us 623-252-6670 out there. Then Robert says, at TME Sports Show, tag us there. He says, with Gamblu out, you should break down the Cena-Gunther match this weekend. The names would be easier to pronounce. Oh, should we do it? Yeah, John Cena's last match is this weekend. You know what? I'll hit this up. Since Robert's asking, I'll hit it up before the break. If you've been watching this program or following me on the radio, I am not a John Cena fan. I'm not a fan of his acting. I'm not a fan of most of his movies. I'm not a fan of when he just goes on a talk show and an interview. I'm not a fan of his wrestling. Never been one. Always. John Cena's just always has annoyed me. I do like the Can't See Me stuff. I think that's fantastic. What he does with, I think it's Make-A-Wish Foundation. But, you know, Never Give Up stuff that he does. I apologize. I don't remember what foundation it is. Where I saw things where people would write to him about how he has saved them, you know, from committing suicide with his attitude and the way he talks about things. That stuff's fantastic that John Cena does. But in terms of a wrestling perspective and an acting perspective, he uses his platform correctly. He's one of those guys that uses it correctly. You know, and then when he was dating Nikki Bella, that reality show just drove me nuts because I have a lot of OCD tendencies, and I get it. But even I was looking at John Cena like, dude, what is wrong with you? You're a little on the nutsy side. So I'm not a big John Cena fan. So it's clear on that. I'm also not the biggest Gunther fan out there. To me, Gunther's just this big heavyweight guy that goes in and he just slaps people. You know, I saw him just at WWE Raw what was that, a week and a half ago now. Gunther doesn't do it for me either. He's just there with that German character, you know, as he goes out there. I'm just not a Gunther fan either. I'm going to watch it because it's John Cena's final match. I also, by the way, hate the fact that John Cena has the most titles over Ric Flair now. I can't stand that John Cena owns that title. John Cena, in my eyes, is nowhere near Ric Flair in the WWE. Historically, you're going to look back and Ric Flair's always going to be put above John Cena in that, even though he has the most championship belts and stuff like that. I know, who would have thought you're getting a WWE breakdown today? There is not a match that I would not, if this wasn't John Cena's final match, I would not pay attention to it at all. This isn't a match I'm interested in. I don't like either one of these guys. Here's the question that I got, though. Usually when a wrestler retires, they lose their final match. And it's because you're going up against somebody that you put over, right? The Rock got put over because somebody was retiring and Rock beat him and everything. So you put the other guy over. Gunther doesn't need to go over. And what I mean by go over, like their next step up, right? Give him some more promotion. Gunther doesn't need that. So does John Cena win his final match? I don't like it when wrestlers win their final match. I like the old history of it, the tradition of it. Does John Cena beat Gunther this weekend for his final thing? And he walks off, you know, all pale and his bald spot, and he's all pale, and he's all... Or does Gunther beat him traditionally? That's the big question I have this weekend. But am I looking forward to this match? No. I'm not a fan of either one of these guys. Gunther came out of that Raw, and I was just like, all right, see what he does and everything. Robert does say, never been a huge fan of Cena either. His stint on Rogan softened it a bit. Hinchcliffe's bit about Dirty Dom did change my mind about him as well. Yeah, it's like I said, John Cena is a human being. He's got those OCD tendencies that, like he used to yell at Nikki Bella all the time if, because he had white everything in his house. And like if something was out of place, he'd yell at her and stuff like that. Take that aside. But what he does with his celebrity is amazing. Just Google John Cena, and there are multiple videos of what he's done for kids with cancer, kids, that have diseases that they're killing them. I mean, it'll tug at your heartstrings, man. He's a fabulous human being for that stuff. I love the can't see me gimmick. That is amazing. His move, I love that. It's amazing. Not a fan of the jorts. I don't particularly think he's a great wrestler at all. I don't think he sells his moves properly. And things to that effect. And it's just even back when he was in his prime. But I get it. I know as he's retiring, I've heard a couple other people say they've softened to him because, he's kind of doing the look back as he goes and stuff like that effect. I just think this is a terrible matchup. I don't understand why this is a matchup you could have gotten. Now, will there be surprises in this match? That might make it interesting. Who's coming out, right? Who's coming out to mess with John Cena a little bit in the ring? Could that happen? That's my take on this weekend's match. Not looking forward to it. Will I tune in? Yes. Will I watch it? Will I pay attention to it? Yes. It is a historical event in terms of WWE, but I'm just not excited for it. I'm just not. Maybe they'll surprise me this weekend. But there's my take on Cena and that as well. Go, folks. Come on back, folks. We'll wrap up this show strong. We got some NFL talk we've got to talk about as well here coming up. Jonathan Gannon talks about Trey Benson not playing the rest of the year. I got that video. We'll talk about that. Brian Cox got fired by the Giants. He was their defensive line coach. You want to know what the final straw was? Well, we have it here for you, folks. Come on back. Oh, and then my buddy, 4 years younger than me, Phillip Rivers. I kind of chuckled when they asked him one specific question yesterday in his press conference. We'll talk about that, folks. Come on back. The main event. And we're back here. Main event, of course. I got you for the rest of the show. No Uncle Lou. If you're tuning in, you're going, oh, crap, Uncle Lou's on today on Thursdays. Well, not unfortunately this week. He had a personal matter he had to go take care of back in Omaha, so he unfortunately had to cancel this week. But, of course, Dale takes off and does his hit there at KUPD on the Holmberg's Morning Sickness guys there. He's off doing that, so I got you the rest of the show here as well. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the free YouTube page here of our production company. You got the main event, McCollum on Business. The pit stop is on there. We do have breaking. A settlement has been made in that lawsuit between two teams, Michael Jordan's team, 2311, and NASCAR this morning. We don't know the terms of the settlement yet. Just going through all the pages here, trying to find if anybody has any of them. Nothing's broken yet. The judge did say he liked the settlement and thought it was good for both sides. So that's the judge's opinion. as they've approved that. Jury's been sent home. So that's breaking news from that. Follow me at the Pit Stop Talk on X and on Facebook as well. That's where the racing page there for the Pit Stop as well. All of those pages, including the Real Matrix. New episode came out yesterday at 11 o'clock. Catch it on the YouTube page. Of course, Robat TV as well. It's got its own channel. The Real Matrix has its own podcast pages as well. Just search The Real Matrix on your favorite podcast system. It comes up. Episode 11's out there right now, noon yesterday. Every Wednesday at noon. We're going to get a holiday schedule coming up. We'll announce next week for that show. But right now we have 11 episodes up for you to get caught up on. The Angry Patriot just asked that you come into that show with an open mind and just see what he has to say in terms of government workings, etc. There with the Angry Patriot out there and everything, folks. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe to, even if you don't listen to it, but you've watched us live here at Robat T or catch us on demand. Just go to your Podbean, Spotify, Google, whatever podcast system you have. Just find the main event and just hit that like button, subscribe button. Same thing with the Pit Stop. Just search that for the podcast version, and even the Real Matrix. Just hit likes on that. Just gets us out there into the world of the algorithm. And same thing with the YouTube page. Just hit that subscribe button as well for us. We'd greatly appreciate that as well. And for those of you, obviously, our overwhelming audience happens here at Robat TV Live, and we can't thank you live people enough. And also the on demand afterwards as well is huge here at Robat TV. So our overwhelming audience is here. We just want to spread it out there and get it out to some people that I know some people were shocked. We're still doing this after we left the radio station and all of that stuff. So we're just putting it out there for everybody, having some fun today as well here. For the main event here on this Thursday. McCall My Business coming up at 11, by the way, as well. But let's go outside in here, and we'll end up on the Cardinals here today. Phillip Rivers, of course, 44 years old, goes in front of the people after he signs yesterday there in Indianapolis. Hasn't played since 2020. You've all heard the stories as the rumors were ramping up there for him as well. But man, did it hit me. I'm 48 years old, 4 years older than Phillip Rivers. And he got asked a specific question yesterday, and it kind of just hit me in the spot a little bit out there. Phillip Rivers does look like he's carrying a little extra weight than we remember him carrying, but he's asked specifically about it. Here's Phillip Rivers talking about his weight.
Wait, what do you weigh right now? Right this second? Yes. I'm not sure. That's all I'm saying. Me neither. I want to answer your question a little better on the plane like Greg, and not what it was when I walked up the field. I'll tell you. But then I'll follow that up with, I ain't never ran away from anybody anyway. People say, well, I never know you're going to be right there. It's like, well, they do that for 16 seconds. What's it been like?
We got that from Fox 59 there in Indianapolis. And folks, what a way to answer that question. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, he's put on a little bit of weight. You can tell it in his face and everything. And it happens. Right? It happens as we get older, right, everybody? And what a funny way to answer that, though, because he's not wrong. It's not like he was ever a speedster and stuff like that. But fantastic way to answer that. And it just kind of hit me a little bit. I was taking notes yesterday when I was watching that press conference. I was just sitting there watching it and going, oh, I'm taking that note. People ask me how much I weigh. I'm just going to be like, oh, not as much as I did 5 years ago. It's fantastic. This is just a human story that you just got to kind of follow, whether you like Phillip Rivers or not. I've always respected Phillip Rivers' ethic, the way he played on the field. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? I think he's borderline. I know his numbers are there, but it just depends, right? It's just one of those borderline type of guys. I'm okay if he's in, but I'm okay if he stays out, one of those types of guys. But, he worked hard. He played hard, weird throwing style, kind of a shot put throwing style, things to that effect. But I don't know, man. There's just something about this, the way his press conference was. I'll give you an idea right there, just joking around. Just like he's a kid again. This is a man that has, 12 kids at home, coaching football and stuff to that effect. He's familiar with the system. He's excited. He still has the bug. He's not back for money. He has the bug to still play, right, in this opportunity. He knows this is his last run. I don't know. I don't know how you don't root for a guy in this situation. I'd love to see him out there. The Colts did call up Brett Rippon yesterday onto their regular roster. They have Seattle this weekend. Seattle's defense is, if not the best defense in the league, it's up there in the top couple, folks. I don't know if you expose Phillip Rivers to that environment in his first game back. Maybe you let the young rookies take their lickings and beatings in this game and then bring Phillip Rivers after that. Well, it'd be interesting to see. He's on the practice squad now. They have to call him up, I believe, Saturday morning, I think, is the call-up time. Either Friday night or Saturday morning. I think it's Saturday morning to call him up to the main squad if he's going to be on there. I can tell you this. If he gets called up to the main squad, you will see him in the game. I'm not saying he's going to play every snap, but you will see him in the game if he gets called up into this. I'm assuming he's past his physical if he's signed, right? We saw Ragnow with Detroit wanting to come back from his retirement, the center, and he failed his physical. He had a hamstring tear there. So he's not able to come back this year at all from that side. But I don't know. This is just a human story. It's like it's things we go to the movies to watch, right? So the reason why we follow sports. I think this is a fantastic story. And I think we're all interested in seeing how it turns out. I, for one, hope this turns out good. I'm not saying he's winning a Super Bowl. I'm not saying any of that. But kind of like Joe Flacco. Just every year, you just find yourself kind of watching Joe Flacco like, man, can the old man do it again? Can the old man revive this team and show him success out there? I definitely feel that way here about this Phillip Rivers situation, and that was kind of fun. Then you go to the other side with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, when he came back from this injury, and he said people were like, you're coming back too early and all of that stuff. Or why come back? You've only got 3 wins. And they asked him all of that stuff. And he goes, man, this is what I do. I don't want to let the fans down. My job is to play quarterback for the Bengals, play football. I don't want to let the fans down that pay their tickets to come and see me. It's what I do. This is what I want to do. This is why I'm coming back now, even though we have 3 wins and going nowhere. Different tune yesterday from Joe Burrow coming back, still getting his head beat in because that offensive line, still struggling from that perspective. Yes, they got a couple wins since he's been back. Here's Joe Burrow yesterday talking kind of about the season and just how it's going with the Bengals.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above. Like you said, there's nothing. All we can do is focus week to week and try to win games. I don't think anybody's really thinking about the playoffs right now. That's within reach, but on our fingertips. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and try to get better.
Here's the question. Well, one, he alluded to some personal things going on that obviously can affect you if you're struggling, if you're getting your brains beat in at work and stuff to that effect. Because they said the question was football related or personal. And he said all of the above. So he's alluding to some off the field stuff that's bothering him and he's dealing with as well. And you're not going to fault somebody, dealing with that and then having to go to work and et cetera, et cetera. Or, so take that aside for a minute. In terms of the Bengals on the football side, he rushed back to play for the Bengals. This is what I do. He had all the joy of a kid coming back. He does not. Does he look like he has that joy right now? Is that the shot across the bow? Are we going to see a Carson Palmer situation with Joe Burrow coming up here this offseason that we saw with Carson Palmer when he left the Bengals? Retired. Bengals had to realize then, he's being serious. He ain't coming back and playing here anymore. Traded him to the Raiders, et cetera, and he ended up here in Phoenix eventually, and all of that stuff. Is Joe Burrow sending the shots across the bow here to the Cincinnati Bengals of, this ain't fun no more playing here. I want to go elsewhere. Something to keep an eye on here from that perspective here with Joe Burrow. First time we're seeing Joe Burrow kind of, if this is a shot across the bow, first kind of time we're seeing this with him out there. So something to pay attention to. I know a lot of people go, Cardinals need to bring him in. I agree 100%. He'd be a fantastic addition to this Cardinals squad. You're going to improve, no matter who your quarterback is, Kyler Murray or not, you're going to improve your quarterback situation if Joe Burrow is here. I don't see him doing the move like that. But my point is there could be a big quarterback position opening up here and a quarterback on the move here coming up if this continues on. It's just the Giants. Switching to the Giants here. They're just struggling. Mike Kafka is the assistant head coach. He's making moves and things with the team. And they fired defensive line coach Brian Cox, who, of course, played in this league for a lot of years, was a really good, I believe he was a linebacker back in the day. But they fired him during the bye week. This is coming out from, of course, Ari Mirov brought this story out here. Oh, why did they fire him? Was he underperforming? Are they not happy with the defensive line performance? They want to kind of improve that a little bit. Did he have a bad attitude? Like, why would you fire a coach on the defensive line during your bye week? We're seeing all these teams that are struggling this year. We're seeing good teams make changes on their coaching staff to try to improve. Well, every team, it seems like, except for one, and that's the Cardinals. I know I'm exaggerating. Not every team's making moves, but a lot of teams are. Even the Giants, they have an interim head coach who's making changes to make this team better, or try to make it better. Well, they say, according to Ari, the final straw was Brian Cox's reaction to the seating arrangement on the airplane on the flight home from the Patriots game. From New England to New York is what? 30-minute, 40-minute flight if you have to go roundabout a little bit. It's not that long of a flight, right? They changed the seating arrangement in that game. Assistant coaches were moved from the front of the plane to the back of the plane. And he threw I'm going to say threw a fit, but he complained about it, whatever, and then that was the final straw being reported on why they got rid of him. Tells me two things. One, kind of a petty reason to get rid of somebody, but obviously there's other things and stuff to that effect. But two, look what the Giants are doing. Giants are god-awful. Quarterbacks in and out of injury, right? They're gone with Jackson Dart, the rookie. Their running back situation is a mess. Not just because Cam Scatterboo went out, but their starting running back, been injured all year. Receivers are out, and Neighbors is out. All of that stuff. It's been a tough year for the Giants and everything. But look what they're making changes. They put the assistant coaches in the back. Cardinals are like, we're doing everything the same. That's what I get out of that story. And that's a short. I can understand if you're flying from Seattle to New York. You're putting me in the back? Really? Oh, what are we doing? How small is the New England to New York flight? Why aren't you just taking a bus is the bigger question, right? It's not that far of a trip at all for that trip there. But that's interesting. I taken it more as the Giants are making changes. Even though they're terrible interim head coach, they're making all these changes. And the Cardinals continue to just sit there and make zero changes as we go into that. Obviously, the big breaking story right now is that NASCAR story. As soon as we wrap up here, we got McCollum on Business coming up at 11. But I'll dig in a little bit, see if we got any rumors of settlement terms here between the two teams, including Michael Jordan's team there in NASCAR, with NASCAR and that lawsuit itself. It is a settlement. The trial is over officially now. And so we'll get those details. Follow me at the Pit Stop Talk, where I'll get a lot of those details as we hear of them out with my thoughts on that and all of that stuff. And then, did you see this? The NFL and their referees are going to have a little bit of a battle coming up here as well. I don't know if you guys saw this out there, but the NFL, I found this shocking. The NFL cannot talk to officials the day after the Super Bowl until May 15th. No communications with the officials. Period. End of story. Shocked to hear that. The NFL wants to improve it in terms of improving their referees, getting them more work, etc. And basically their CBA's coming up. And so the NFL is throwing shots across the bow on that stuff. Something to watch. We all remember the replacement refs that one year. Remember that one where they caught a touchdown and one said incomplete and the other one said touchdown? They're staring at each other. Those were replacement refs, folks. Something to pay attention to is the referee situation around the NFL. Of course, tonight you got Buccaneers, Atlanta. Dog of a game. Not interested in it other than Tampa Bay needs a win. They've lost 5 of 7. They're circling the drain in that division. They might not even make the playoffs if they keep this up. They have not played well lately as their schedule has gotten harder. Got to pay attention to Tampa Bay tonight. Atlanta's been eliminated. There's no threats there. The Atlanta-Arizona game is going to be kind of like the toilet bowl coming up next weekend over there in Glendale. Which team wants their 4th win? It's probably the last win either one of them has a chance to get. That's the only reason to watch tonight is just can Tampa. They're getting Mike Evans back tonight. They signed Jason Pierre-Paul again for their defense. I don't know if he'll play tonight. They signed him to the practice squad, but he's back there as an old man coming back. Speaking of, that would be big news if Phillip Rivers didn't sign. I think Jason Pierre-Paul is like 38, if I remember correctly. He's in that late 30 range there. And that's the only reason to watch tonight is just can the Buccaneers keep their playoffs hope alive, or they just keep faltering from that perspective coming up. But then you got Jonathan Gannon. His press conference yesterday, typical press conference by him. But my bigger question here around the Cardinals, I've been questioning it for a while. Why did you activate Trey Benson on November 19th? And his window opened up, which means you have 3 weeks to either sign him or he goes on IR the rest of the season. Jonathan Gannon gives us 2 injury updates yesterday. Here it is. Jonathan Gannon on those injury updates yesterday.
Injury front, Paris will not go this week. Everybody else will kind of see how the week goes. We will not activate Trey Benson. Just hasn't progressed to the point that he can go out there and play football right now.
You guys notice that term at the end there? What term are they using for Kyler? His foot injury hasn't progressed to the levels we expect it to. Trey Benson, you activate his window 3 weeks ago. He was practicing. He was running around out there. Did Trey Benson have a setback, or was he not ready on November 19th? Or because you keep losing, are you just putting Trey on IR and just, hey, buddy, you're done for the year? No point in bringing you back now. They keep using they have not progressed to the level we expected them to. He was healthy enough for you to take him out of the window. We're assuming that to activate his window. Did he have a setback, or was he not ready when he started? Or are you just setting him down because you suck? They keep using these excuses with injuries. They haven't progressed to the level we expected them to. Why not? Why is this at least the second player that his injury hasn't progressed to the level you expected it to? Why? These are excuses? Or are you activating guys when they're not supposed to be? Or is your medical team not getting these guys healthy again? What is happening with the Cardinals with the progression of injuries? It's one of the choices, folks. What answer is it? I can tell you this, with his MCL sprain in terms of Paris Johnson, you got 3 wins, 4 games left. Don't play him again. Don't risk a full ACL tear or something where Paris Johnson's out for half of next year. Just sit Paris down, let him heal, boom, done. Do not risk it the rest of this year. Worst thing that can happen, you put Paris Johnson out there and he tears it even more, has to go into major surgery, and he's out half of the year next year. Worst thing to happen if you do that. Let it heal. Nobody's going to blame you for that. Nobody's going to blame you for that. What we will question you about is bringing somebody back on November 19th and opening up their practice window. That means they're healthy enough to play, and they just need to ramp up their stamina, et cetera, get their body ready to be hit again. That's what that means. And he's been practicing. There's video every week of Trey Benson running at full speed at practice. He's not able to come back now because he's not progressed enough? What does that mean? Has he been lazy and not running? Is he not in shape? Or is the injury still there? Did he have a setback? Questionable injury issues with this Cardinals teams continue to ring their ugly head here with Jonathan Gannon and those guys as we go on now. So Falcons, Buccaneers tonight. Buccaneers 7-6. I was going to look up here, and I'm pulling it up right now. Buccaneers, because that division, this is a serious game for the Buccaneers coming into this game. I'm looking it up here. I know they're still leading the division, but I think they're tied. They are. They're tied with Carolina right now, 7-6. Only one team is getting into the playoffs in this division. Is it going to be the Buccaneers, or is it going to be the Panthers? The Saints and the Falcons have both been eliminated from playoff contention. So it comes down to those two teams. Both are 7-6 right now. Could two teams get in? Yes, if they keep winning. Get to 10, 11 wins. They might get a wild card there, right into it. Buccaneers are fighting for their lives tonight against Atlanta. That might make it for an interesting Thursday night game. Is this the Tampa Bay team that's going to step up? Or is this a Tampa Bay team that's going to continue to struggle down the stretch here in this part of the season for Tampa Bay? So we'll be back tomorrow, of course, where we'll talk Friday. We have bowl games this weekend. We'll have the numbers here on our college football picks on who's winning where going into this bowl season. We, of course, pick the bowl season games as well coming up here. Dale just picks the favorites. He cheats on that. I actually try for a couple updates. We'll have all that tomorrow as well. We'll get you ready for the NFL weekend coming up. No Suns till Sunday. ASU, U of A men's basketball. GCU's not till Saturday. Check out ASU volleyball, an hour away from the volleyball Sweet 16 matchup against number 3 ranked Crankton. ESPN2, of course, turn it on. Turn the sound down. Catch me here at McCollum on Business here today as well, folks. Live at 11 o'clock on demand after that. See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great Thursday night.